It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We've got a rather short meeting to talk about that happened on a Tuesday, the 5th, because of the holiday. We've also got a workshop before the meeting to touch on and a number of things happening this fall in the city of Maple Grove. Let's start with the workshop ahead of the meeting. And one of the focuses was about a big event coming to town in February. Tell us about Super Bowl talk in Maple Grove. What's happening?
Yeah, so a number of aspects as we prepare for the Minneapolis area to host the Super Bowl. One of the items on our consent agenda last evening was our agreement with the city of Minneapolis for some police support for the event. So all of the cities around the metro area are being asked to kind of pitch in and help. So I think we've dedicated about 8 officers to that Super Bowl event downtown at various times throughout the week. So that's kind of how we're involved with the bigger picture, but we're also looking at ways to kind of celebrate the fact that the Super Bowl's here in Minneapolis, right here in Maple Grove, knowing that we will have full hotels, folks hopefully patronizing our businesses and shopping and spending money in Maple Grove, and hopefully getting out to have some fun too. So we're looking at doing some events around the Super Bowl and things really also just to celebrate the local community. Hopefully this will be a festive week in Minnesota where people are out and about, and so we want to look at doing some events that kind of serve not only our visitors but also our community. So looking to do a flag football event on the Thursday night prior to the Super Bowl with some local celebrities. Maybe you could even participate in that up at the Dome.
They need someone to carry the water, right?
Yeah, no, well,
I'm ready.
You're ready for that? All right. So that on maybe the Thursday night prior, and then on Saturday we are hopefully planning, putting together the pieces for a concert at Central Park. And I know that kind of sounds crazy in February, but we're working with a production company to do a heated tent out there in Maple Grove in that great lawn area. At Central Park. It'll be a ticketed event, so kind of a bigger name type talent that would be, and we would have a beer garden there and kind of a festive atmosphere. During the day, earlier in the day, we'd have some events for the families and kids. So a lot of details to come together yet, but we wanted to get back with the council and kind of present this concept. With working with a production company to put on the concert, and the council was okay with us starting to move forward and negotiate that contract. So you'll see that come back before the council for more discussion. But the ball's kind of rolling in that direction now.
Sounds fun. It's not that far away, so we'll keep you up to date on that. A couple other items that happened before the council meeting related to the fire department. Tell us about the meet and greet and some interviews that are upcoming.
Yeah, so we're still in the process of selecting a new fire chief for the city of Maple Grove. We hosted a meet and greet event yesterday afternoon from 5 to 7 at the Government Center. This was really kind of focused on kind of all the fire department staff, you know, a little bit unique in that we have about 95 paid on-call firefighters with the fire department, and so we wanted to make sure we invited them in, give them an opportunity to meet all the candidates, and then provide feedback to the city council, who will be interviewing the 4 finalists this evening. So we're looking forward to moving through this process, and hopefully the next time we meet, maybe we'll have some updates for you.
All right.
Yeah. More steps in the process.
So let's talk about that meeting then on the 5th. Again, it was about 21 minutes long. Not too much on the consent agenda to point out other than territorial woods. We've talked about that quite a few times, that the process keeps moving. Where are we with what happened at the council meeting?
Yeah, so this is a project just up off north of 81, just kind of east of Fernbrook there, south of Territorial, kind of in that, it's almost like a sliver of land in between those 2 roads that is proposed to do some higher density housing. The project's received some approvals, so it's moving forward with, it accepted the bids for the utility improvements and the road improvements, so that project will get underway yet this fall. And then we approve the final plat. So basically the approvals for this project are pretty much complete. So this includes an apartment component as well as some townhomes up there.
All right, look for that coming up out of the ground. Special business at the meeting on the 5th was the big topic we've talked about for months. It's the budget, and you've talked about it quite a bit at the city level, so give us a little progress report of where it's been and where it is now after the meeting.
Yep, so at the meeting last night, we approved the preliminary levy. So by the end of September, we have to certify our preliminary levy to Hennepin County.
Right.
This is what gets produced on your tax statements that you receive at your home based upon the value that was set earlier this year. Then we apply what the levy will be, and you'll kind of get a better understanding of what your taxes will look like for 2018. So from here on out, we can take the levy down, we can't go up. So this sort of sets the high water mark, if you will, for that levy. But I think the goal is always to get it pretty close to where we want to be so that it creates an accurate picture when those tax statements go out. So for the levy, we're at a 2.39% increase on the levy and 2.38% on the budget. So real close on those percentages there. For the average home in Maple Grove, which as we look at all of our property values, what we assign as the average home in Maple Grove is a home that's valued at about $291,000. So for those homeowners, the tax increase, so the actual dollar increase of the city taxes, will go up about 1.61%. So pretty modest increase this year. It equates to about $16.38 on the year. You know, and depending on where your property value is, what kind of a market value increase you experience this year, those numbers shift around a little bit. But that's kind of where we're sitting today. This budget proposal at the 2.39% levy increase includes 2 new positions and then some additional hours for a couple part-time positions. So it includes a new patrol officer, which really is the result of what will be an internal shift of adding another staff member to our investigations unit. It's been some time since we've added staff in investigations, and so we'll be making that shift with the approval of the final budget. And then a park keeper position, and this position would be focused on really facility maintenance. So Central Park, the Town Green, the Dome, this individual would really be focused on the maintenance of those facilities as versus kind of a groundskeeper. The other 2 positions, taking the special events coordinator position from 4/5 time to full time. We've seen an increase in special events throughout the community. A lot more things going on with 5Ks, events at Central Park. And then also the senior program assistant will be going from half-time to full-time. Our senior programs are kind of bursting at the seams, and so really tried to focus our staffing positions this year on where we're seeing increased demand for service.
Very good. So a lot of information about the budget, and again, you can find out more through that last council meeting or through the city. One point to note is fiscal disparities. Just tell us a little bit about that fun couple words and what that meant from Hennepin County, and it was kind of a last piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. So oftentimes we don't receive our information from the county about what our fiscal disparity. We have a contribution and a distribution side of that. And so Maple Grove is a net contributor to the region. We contribute some of our tax capacity to the region. And that kind of helps level the playing field, if you will, amongst communities here in the metro region. But what it basically does is the numbers were a little bit better than we thought they were going to be with what we're getting back in our fiscal disparities distribution number. And so basically what it does is it brings our tax rate down. So if you recall, we were right at about a 1.99% increase in taxes on an average home, brought it down to that 1.61%. So benefit to the tax rate and to the actual impact of taxes doesn't affect really the levy number or the budget number, because this affects tax capacity. So so that was some good news for us, and it results in kind of a shift in the taxes a little bit too.
All right, enough budget talk, right? We've got you confused on numbers now, so we'll stop there, but again, you can find out more. There's a hearing in December that finalizes the budget as well. Let's talk community development, some things that might be popping up around town and some that are in progress. First, the Starbright Cleaner site. People might know this by the Cub Foods. Tell us what's in the minds there.
Yeah, so this site fronts right along Weaver Lake Road. It's just kind of directly east of the Taco John's that's there to the north of Cub. So we have a proposal in for 7,000 square foot. It would be a combined little multi-tenant building with a bank and a coffee shop. And we haven't heard yet who the tenants are going to be, what brand the coffee will be or the bank, but nice to see this site get back under use. That went through a process of having to be cleaned up after being a cleaner for many years.
Sure.
So hopefully this will be a nice use for that site.
Very good. Moving down to the southwest corner of town then, one other item discussed was the Rush Creek Apartments. Give us an update of what's happening there.
Yeah, so this is at the area of Bass Lake Road and County Road 101.
Right.
So kind of in the, it used to be the Marks at Rush Creek, now they're calling it Southwest Crossing. So
Okay.
this is the Hy-Vee site, the
Right.
coveted Hy-Vee site at 101 and
Many
10.
names.
Many names to this. Yeah, we're gonna have to settle that down pretty soon. But this is a housing project just to the west of 101, south of Bass Lake Road. Kind of, there's a triangle piece there that's kind of pocketed between 101 and then the border of Corcoran.
Right.
And so this will be an apartment project called called Rush Creek Apartments. 2 4-story buildings there. So they have applied, and we'll see this one come through the Planning Commission City Council process in the coming weeks.
Okay. Let's move ahead to Public Works, and we're going to stay in that same area of town because there was some discussion there and some looking going into what happens with some road realignment.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we see in the future here, I'm not sure what the exact timing will be, but there certainly will be development pressure kind of on all 4 corners of that 101 and Bass Lake Road area. And so with being right there on the border of Corcoran, we have some coordination to do with how will those public street alignments work, and where will the access points be. And so we're going to be meeting with Corcoran in the coming days here to kind of work through that and see if we can't work out some agreements on those public road alignments.
Very good. Final couple items from the meeting on the 5th. Heidi had a little update related to 2 items. One is Silvercrest and the other is Park Board Tour. Tell us about both of those.
Yeah, so Silvercrest, they are the owners of the Silver Creek on Main project. They're right at Weaver and Main. They had a purchase agreement for kind of the property that's right behind them to the east there, running up to Central Park, that they had with the city for future expansions of that project. If you'll recall, we did approve the Applewood Point project, which is a United Properties project, kind of at the east end of that parcel. We've received word from Applewood Point that they're going to be looking to start that project in the spring. So we had some closing dates in that amendment to the purchase agreement with Silvercrest that we're going to need to modify, so we're working through that, but looking to see that Applewood Point project come forward in the spring. Okay, we'll get back to you on that. And then the Park Board Tour, the council is going to be on a little tour coming up here. Yeah, so on an annual basis, the City Council is invited to join the Park Board on a tour, and they will be going out to, I think, the Angel of Hope site. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but looking at areas where maybe some improvements have been constructed or where maybe some improvements are planned. Just to give the council and the park board a chance to visit those sites and get an understanding of what the issues are. So on September 21st in the evening, the council will head out with the park board, and hopefully we'll have a lovely fall evening to do that. Very good. And there was one quick hit to the EDA in this meeting that talked about their tax levy. So tell us what that is. It is a continuation really of what was known as the HRA in the past. Yeah, so if you recall earlier this year we established an EDA, which is an Economic Development Authority, but we folded into that the HRA powers. So the city has had an HRA, a Housing and Redevelopment Authority, for many years, and under state law you can establish an EDA and then sort of fold in the HRA operation to that. So we're continuing with that levy. We levy about $150,000 a year, and what that does is it supports the various housing programs that we have in the community. So consistent with years past, no increase to that levy, just kind of carries a different name today. Very good. So that is the meeting from the 5th. Again, a short, sweet meeting. They'll meet again on the 18th. We'll give you that information coming up in a minute. Now let's head on to some other things happening around the city, and as you might have noticed in the past couple days here, school's back in session, so you have a few pointers for people in Maple Grove around the schools. Yeah, so we just ask people to be really aware. We have a lot of kids that are walking to school and biking to school. So we just ask for people to be aware, and I think now more than ever, distracted driving becomes an issue we have little kids out in the streets. So just an extra sense of awareness for the drivers on our streets. And with them all back in school, it means the pools are going to shut down for a little bit here. So tell us about outdoor-indoor pool time. Yeah, so outdoor pool's closed. Indoor pool is now closed for some annual maintenance. We do that on an annual basis. It reopens on September 24th.
Another sign that fall is here or coming soon is the last concert at the Town Green. And if
Yep.
you're watching this in an early airing, you might catch this. Tell us about that concert.
Yeah, so it's tonight at the Town Green.
Yep.
This is the last one, wrapping it up for the season. And if you're, Chris Hockey was scheduled to perform earlier
Yep.
this summer, and we had a rain out, so brought him back for this last show, and it looks to be a lovely evening out there.
Yeah, successful year at the Town Green with the concert. Speaking of the park system, we've been talking about some planning and some input about the park system.
Yep.
Tell us about that. There's a deadline that's coming up rather quickly here.
Yeah, so as a part of our comprehensive plan update process, we're also in the process of updating our park system plan. And we have been collecting input in a couple different ways. We have an online survey that you can complete, as well as they have the My Social Pinpoint, which is kind of an online app that you can use to provide kind of real-time feedback on our park system. And that feedback is open through September 8th, so we're coming up close on the date here.
Right.
But we've been really pleased with the response that we've seen so far, so we really appreciate everybody who's chimed in on our park system.
And that feedback then comes before the council, so we'll hear about that in one of the council reports as well.
Yeah, comes before the park board first
Okay,
as
right.
part of their park system plan, but updates will be provided out to the city council as well.
Okay, we'll
Yep.
try to pass some of those along. Now we're going to hop around town to a few things happening in the area. One was a ribbon cutting that just happened. Tell us about the new business in town.
Yeah, so this is the Minnesota Excellence in Learning Academy. They moved into the space up at the Church of the Open Door.
Beacon Academy?
Beacon Academy was up there previously, thank you. And so this is a new school that kind of moved in and took that space. They were looking to grow, and so this was they moved over from Brooklyn Park. So it was great. I had an opportunity to attend the ribbon cutting. It was great. The kids sang and danced for everybody.
Very
and
nice.
It's a great program, and they're really tickled to be in this new expanded space, and that facility works really well for that kind of an operation. So we're happy to have them in town.
Welcome to the community. Let's talk about the parking lot construction at the community center.
Yeah.
How's it going, and when will it be done?
Yes, I think construction's going well. The
Okay.
weather has been somewhat in our favor. We've had a bit of rain, but now this week certainly is a dry run. So we're moving as quickly as we can, but we do probably have about another month worth of work. They
Okay.
really are kind of getting down there and replacing that subgrade, so we have a nice smooth pavement going forward. But we are providing we have golf cart service, so
Okay,
if you are somebody
good.
who needs a little help
Nice.
or it's tough to walk that far, we certainly can give you a ride to the front door, and they're out there doing that during the day. So, and I think most of the hours that they're open. So,
Okay.
Happy to help with that.
And while we're talking about that, let's hop ahead to the next page here just about the farmers market. So again, this does affect and has affected
Yes.
the farmers market. So tell us what will continue on through the rest of the outdoor season for the market.
Yeah, so they're going to continue to shift the market location to the west end of
Okay.
that parking lot, and then they'll have parking available kind of closer to the building there by the ice arena. So, scrunches up things a little bit,
Yep.
but I think, and worked out a few kinks last week, and I think it'll be okay for them for the balance of the season, which runs through October 19th, but the hours start to shift here a little bit.
Okay.
3 to 7 on Thursdays through September, and then we shift from to 3 to 6 p.m. through October 19th. So as the days get a little bit shorter there, but still a lot of great things. We're in apple season now, starting to get into that. So a lot of great things, and we'll start to come into the fall vegetables. So don't forget about the farmers market, and maybe just plan a little bit of extra time with some of the parking crunch right now.
Sounds good. Let's talk about some new faces at the city and another position that has opened up. First, tell us about these new faces. Again, we've been talking over the past months that there's some retirements that are happening in Maple Grove, and we're seeing that with new people coming in.
Yeah, we have celebrated a number of folks as they've left the city after long service, and so just in the last 2 months we've had 7 new folks join our team at City Hall, which is a great addition to our staff, and so we're working on getting them oriented to the city of Maple Grove. But I think we're going to kind of continue to see this trend.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of work around succession planning and really trying to understand where our workforce is in terms of their years of service and when they might be retirement eligible, so that we can be ahead of that. And we know that this trend is going to continue for a few years. So
Sure.
we'll continue to celebrate those who've served for many years and then welcome the new faces as well.
1 in assessing, 1 in park and rec, and 1
Yep.
in information services, 1 in park or public works, and then 3 in police. And
Yep.
there is a new position in police. So
Yeah.
tell us about that you're looking to hire.
Yeah, so we have a posting for a police officer position right now, and this is just due to retirement.
Right.
So not a new position, but just kind of keeping up with that retention and kind of that churn of folks
Oh,
leaving
yes.
the department. So application period is open through Monday, September 18th at 4:30 p.m. and all of that information is available on our website.
All right, and a lot of information is coming out to you via publications here in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the things that people should be looking for in the mail and even online.
Yeah, so we have our fall edition of the City Focus newsletter that'll be coming out, as well as our Parks and Recreation brochure, and you get those in your mailbox so you can watch for those. And then we have paper copies available of those both at the Government Center and the Community Center, and they both are available on our website.
Very good. Final couple notes to pass along. We've got a few things we've touched a little on, but we want to get you up to date on that age-friendly initiative. We've talked about this in the past, and certainly something Maple Grove's seen as the population ages a little bit. Wednesday, September 27th, a date to mark on your calendar. Tell us about this initiative.
Yeah, so this is what we're doing is we're reporting out the information that was received as part of the community assessment that went out and talked to individuals about the needs and desires of older adults in the community. So the public is invited to hear and comment on the findings, and that is Wednesday, September 27th. 2 meetings, same contents. You can come either time if you'd
Okay.
like, 2 p.m. or 7 p.m., and this is at the community center. The findings that we received from this community assessment will be the basis of forming kind of a 3-year action plan about things that we could be doing in the city of Maple Grove to make Maple Grove more age-friendly. So how we plan our neighborhoods to infrastructure and pedestrian connections programs, all of those kinds of things will be taken into consideration.
So again, stop by on Wednesday the 27th, 2 or 7 p.m. to find out more. You mentioned the Angel of Hope earlier. Tell
Yep.
us about that garden and some nice things happening there.
Yeah, so we embarked on an expansion project up there earlier this year, and they're hoping to have that finished up here later this fall. But the expansion includes an arbor feature, benches, and a small fountain, and kind of new landscaping, some improvements to the paving, the pathway access to the site, as well as a bigger area for memorial bricks. So there will be an opportunity to have over 650 more engraved memorial bricks located
Very
there.
nice.
So just more opportunities for people and for families to remember a loved one there. And then of course we have the annual event. This will all be back in place, and we'll have the
Very good.
new site ready to go for the December event that happens every year.
All right, more
Yep.
information about that site on the website, a beautiful area of the city.
Yes.
Final note, we've talked about this a few times, but we wanted to make sure you get this on your calendar because it's been 20 years for the
Yeah.
community center, and you're going to have a little party about that.
Yeah, so October 20 and 21, we'll celebrate the 20-year anniversary of the community center. And during that weekend, you can purchase an all-building family day admission for $20, and that gets you into basically all of the various areas of the community center. There's going to be prize drawings, giveaways, trivia, special games, and activities that day for families. So more information available on the Maple Grove CommunityCenter.org website, so you can go visit there and hopefully come out and join us on October 20 and 21.
Very good. Can't beat that deal, so make
Nope.
sure you stop by and enjoy that.
Yep.
That is all for our report today. Heidi, thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Let's leave you with some information as promised here. The website is maplegrovemn.gov. A lot of information there about the budget and some of the upcoming activities. That next meeting, as we mentioned, is on Monday, September 18th, 7:30 at the Government Center. 494-6000, the number to the Government Center, and 533-1710, our viewer response line if you have questions or comments for the program. For Heidi Nilsson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks again for joining us.